Some parents worry that their child will never fully understand sexual consent. And honestly, that's a fair concern. Consent can feel like a complex, abstract idea. But here's the truth: the best way to help your autistic or ADHD child understand consent is to start early and build it slowly through everyday moments. Every time your child asks before hugging, says no, or chooses who sits next to them, that's consent in action. And these small, concrete experiences, they help them to learn about personal boundaries long before sex or relationships even come into the picture. And when we make consent visual, predictable, and rule based, it finally clicks. Consent, it's not too advanced. It's not a teen talk. It's a life skill that starts the moment your child says no. So let's talk about how consent grows from those early "can I give you a hug" moments all the way up to the teenage relationships. And if you're new here, I'm CATH HAKANSON, nurse, sex educator, and autistic mum of two neurodivergent kids. And after 25 years of helping families make sex ed clear and calm, I've seen how consent grows best when it's taught literally and early. Consent is agreeing to something or giving permission for something. Sexual consent means everyone involved fully understands what's happening, freely choose to take part, and can change their mind at any time, and is old enough to be able to consent as well. But here's what many parents don't realise: autistic kids don't pick this up by watching others. They don't always pick up on social hints or tone of voice, and they sometimes need it taught clearly and concretely. If they can learn road rules, then they can learn consent rules. Green means go, red means stop, and you always ask first. So, how do you actually start teaching consent early to toddlers and preschoolers before they even understand what sex or relationships are? Start simple. Consent basically starts with body autonomy. It's understanding that your body belongs to you. Respect their no. Always use real body part names, so penis, vulva, nipples, bottom, because clarity builds safety and confidence. And if your child does not want to kiss grandma, that's okay. Offer a wave or a high five instead. And look, that's not bad manners. That's actually consent. I'll never forget when my daughter first refused to give a relative a goodbye hug. They froze, and I could feel the awkwardness in the room. But I backed her up and said, "That's okay if you don't want to give grandma a hug. Do you want to say goodbye instead or wave?" And, that moment it was uncomfortable for the adults, but it was powerful for my daughter because she learned that her no mattered. And once these early habits are in place, it's time to then start layering in more, especially as they grow older and start to notice body changes. By the school and preteen stage, consent becomes a part of everyday life. Ask before taking or sharing someone's photo. Use TV shows or YouTube clips to point out what good consent looks like and what doesn't. Say things like, "Did you see how they didn't ask before kissing?" My kids went through a stage of watching 90s sitcoms. They are excellent for pointing out lack of consent. Tip there for you. Talk about attraction and new feelings. Like when your body starts changing, you might notice that your feelings towards people start to change. Some kids will start having romantic feelings and want to start dating. And remember, repetition, it isn't about overkill. It's how consent becomes second nature. And for autistic kids, repetition builds safety and understanding. You can even make it visual. Use color cards or a traffic light system. Green for yes, red for no. And when puberty hits, those early lessons really start to link directly to real life relationships and sexual consent. So by the teen years, consent becomes more about sexual activity. The same rules apply. Both people need to feel happy, safe, and free to choose. So for autistic teens, clear rules, visuals, and social stories can make all the difference. So how do we actually get our kids and teens to practice consent until it feels natural and not scripted? This is where we take consent from theory to action. You might role play what if moments, What if your friend says stop tickling but laughs? What if someone says yes at first but then changes their mind? Teach them what to do, not just what not to do. Scripts, visuals, or even emojis can help literal thinkers. And look, here's my strong view. Saying yes or no needs to be taught literally, not guessed. So you really do need to be literal and explicit. So when your child gets it right, celebrate it as well. One mum in my parent membership told me that her teenage son proudly said, I stopped when my friend said no. And that's a huge win. That's real world consent in action. And don't forget to keep revisiting it as well, because consent, like all skills that we have, gets stronger with practice. And when consent becomes a part of everyday life, it makes puberty, relationships, and even online safety a whole lot easier to navigate. Before puberty, kids need a solid understanding of consent because those same skills become the foundation for learning sexual consent later on. And when children already know how to say no or to listen to no and recognize what feels safe, they'll handle the body changes of puberty with much more confidence. So, if you're wondering how to help your autistic child to feel ready for those what if puberty moments, click the video on the screen and I'll show you how to.